Are you interested in kickstarting your career in data analytics? If so, this is the video that can set you on the right path. In this Introduction to Data Analytics module, we will explore some foundational concepts that are crucial for understanding the field. If you are ready to deep dive into the world of data analytics, be sure to check out the link to the course in the description. Let's get started. Before getting started, do not forget to like this video, share this with your friends, and subscribe the channel. Hi, welcome to the first module on Introduction to Data Analytics. In this video, we shall be talking about what is data analytics. In simple layman's term, data analytics is nothing but analyzing data and getting insights from it. We need to get into the data and extract information on what the data is conveying you. For an instance, we'll take an use case to understand what is data analytics. In this particular case, I have taken an example of subscriber churn. Before getting into this, let's try to understand what is churn. Churn simply means leaving something or exiting. Let's say, today you are working at Morgan Stanley as a Python developer. There is a better offer that you are getting right now from the market. Probably JP Morgan is giving you twice the salary that you are getting at Morgan Stanley. What will happen is you will leave Morgan Stanley and join JP Morgan. That means you are churning out from Morgan Stanley because of salary constraints. So this is an example of churn. So churning simply means exiting. In this particular example, we will be discussing telecom related churn analysis. Like, why do customers churn in telecom? A simple example of churn in telecom would be if you are using a mobile network A and you switch to mobile network B. Let's say you are using Vodafone, or you are using Telecomcell, or you are using XL Axiata, or you are using Globe Network. Now you are going to churn from A to B. Why? There could be multiple reasons behind it. Maybe B is offering you a better offer. Come, get unlimited data usage at just $50. Or else they are giving you some different offers. Another reason of churn could be you are frustrated with the network of A. Let's say you go for hiking and you are frustrated with the network. So that could also deal with churning. You could also get frustrated and join another telecom. So this is a telecom churn scenario. But apart from that, there are internal churn scenarios as well. For example, tariff plan churn. Today you are on €50 or $50 and you switch to $30. That is also a churn. Why? Because when you are on $50 plan, your annual income was $60 to the company. Your annual revenue from your side to the company was $600. From $600, it has reduced to $360. So the company is losing $420 from one customer. Imagine 1,000 customers doing the same thing. So you can do the calculations. That's a loss to the company. Similarly, service churn. Maybe you are using a weekly subscription or a monthly subscription and you want to leave that. For example, you are using a caller tune or maybe some VAS services, or it could be any services, and you are leaving that. That is also a churn scenario. Product churn. Today you are on postpaid. Tomorrow you are moving to prepaid. Why it is called as churn? Because in postpaid, there is a guaranteed income of some X amount to the company. When that user moves into prepaid, there is no guarantee. The first month, the user could do a $100 recharge, and next 2 months, no recharge. That is also a churn scenario. And then comes usage churn. Now, why I am trying to explain you these scenarios is that when it comes to a use case, when you are given a use case, the first thing that you need to do is you have to analyze different things. Similarly, this particular slide will also talk about a decision cycle of a subscriber. Let's say you are a mobile customer and probably you haven't thought about churning because it is too complex, which means you are an inept subscriber. If you think your operator is the best, maybe you are unconditionally loyal. That means these type of customers are safe. Let's say you are locked in a contract. That means your your company has locked in a contract like 24 months contract. If you leave, you have to pay a hefty amount. In that case also, you don't tend to churn because you are a locked in subscriber. And these kind of scenarios, I have thought about churning, but I'm not locked in a contract and I have decided to stay, are conditionally loyal. That means they are loyal now, they could be not loyal tomorrow, we don't know. Let's say you don't have a contract and you have decided to leave because you have a better offer. These are conditional churners. Because my needs have changed, these are lifestyle migrators. Because I'm not satisfied, these are unsatisfied churners. So as a data analyst, if you are analyzing such use case, let's say you have customer information, customer age, customer tenure, customer salary, customer bandwidth, customer usage, blah, blah, blah. And you tend to analyze few things. If you are able to get this list that some customers, as per my analysis, that let's say conditional loyal customers or customers who are probably going to churn, if you are able to find the insights or doing some analysis, you get some findings, that is going to be valuable to you. So coming back to the topic of what is data analytics. Data analytics is the science of analyzing raw data to make conclusions about information. Data analytics helps a business optimize its performance, perform more efficiently, maximize profit, or make more strategically guided decisions. The techniques and processes of data analytics have been automated into mechanical processes and algorithms that work over raw data for human consumption. When it comes to data analytics, majorly there are 4 types of data analytics. Various approaches to data analytics include looking at what happened. The what part is called as descriptive analytics. Why happened? It's called as diagnostic analytics. What is going to happen? That means predicting the future is called as predictive analytics, or what should be done next is called as your prescriptive analytics. Each one of them is vital, each one of them is important, and we perform each one of them when it comes to any kind of data analytics problem solving. Data analytics relies on a variety of software tools ranging from spreadsheets, data visualization, and reporting tools, data mining programs, or open source languages for the greatest data manipulation. I hope using an example, you were able to understand what exactly is data analytics. That's all about this particular video on what is data analytics. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you. In this video, we shall be talking about the importance of data analytics. As we already know, there are various approaches to data analytics that includes looking at what happened, otherwise known as descriptive analytics, why something happened, which is diagnostic analytics, what is going to happen, that is predictive analytics, or what should be done next, which is prescriptive analytics. If you know what questions are there in your mind, you can probably take the next steps in solving the problem. Talking about the importance of data analytics, there are many. We have 3 major points to discuss. Let's start talking about product development. Data analytics offers both estimation and exploration of capability for information. It allows one to understand the market or processes current state and offers a solid base for forecasting future results. Data analysis helps companies to comprehend the current business situation and change the processor cause the need for a new product creation that meets market requirements. Talking about target content. Learning what consumers wish in advance improves consumer orientation in marketing campaigns. It encourages advertisers to tailor their advertising to a subset of the entire consumer base. It also allows you to figure out which client base group can better respond to the initiative. It also saves money to convince a buyer to buy and increases the overall performance of the marketing activities. Efficiency in operations. The importance of data analytics in marketing finds more viable ways to streamline operations or increase benefit levels. It helps to recognize possible issues, avoid the waiting period, and takes action on them. Apart from these, if you talk about any other random industry, be it your insurance industry or telecom industry, banking industry, any kind of industry, there will be lots and lots of use cases around data analytics. And that is one of the reasons why data analytics is one of the mostly talked industry or the mostly talked methodology that every company wants to get started with, and every learner or an individual wants to learn. That's the end to the first chapter, and see you in the next video. Hi, welcome to this course. In this video, we shall be talking about the types of data. So far, we have already known what data analytics is all about and its importance. We have also known the different types of analytics that is possible, which includes descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. And we all perform the various steps on data. Data is very important. Some recent studies have shown the tremendous growth of data. And with the recent advancements and the computational capabilities, it is quite possible to play around with data and get insights. Let's understand more about data. Data is majorly of two types, qualitative and quantitative. In layman's terms, categorical and numerical. So qualitative data is basically nothing but your categorical data. So for example, you have data in which one of those columns is gender. Male, female, something like that. This is nothing but a qualitative data, a variable to describe the quality of the population. Under qualitative data, there are two major types. One is nominal and one is ordinal. Similarly, we also have quantitative data, which deals with quantity. And when it comes to quantity, we all talk about numerical data, a variable to quantify the population. The two major types are discrete and continuous. Talking about qualitative data, there are two major types, which is nominal and ordinal. But what exactly is nominal? Nominal basically means represents qualitative information without order. That means a type of categorical data or a type of categorical column in the dataset which does not have any order. A value represent discrete units. For an example, you're talking about dataset and you have a column called as gender. Male, female, and blah blah blah. Similarly, some other example could be location. Kuala Lumpur, Tokyo, Jakarta. These could be your different locations, Hong Kong, and so on. Right? Hong Kong, my bad. Right? And so on. These are all your, first of all, these are categorical data. And inside categorical data, they do not follow any order. That means it is a nominal data. Similarly, we'll talk about ordinal data, which basically means they follow some order. Represents qualitative information with order. Imagine a column called as economic status. You are dealing with multiple customers and you have a column called as economic status, low, medium, or high. Definitely everybody knows that it's in a order, right? High is high order, medium and low. So this kind of data indicates measurement classifications which are different and can be ranked. Talking about quantitative data. Quantitative data is again of two types. One is discrete and continuous. Discrete only takes counted values, not decimal values. Example, number of students in a class. That means discrete values. Similarly, continuous is nothing but numbers within a range of values. Let's say height. So these are the different types of data that we have, and majorly categorical and numerical. The major task is to understand which type of data they are, whether they are categorical or numerical, inside categorical, whether they are nominal or ordinal, and when it is numerical data or quantitative data, we should understand whether it is discrete or continuous. That's all about the types of data. In the next video, we shall be talking about the various types of statistical analysis. In this video, we shall be talking about the types of statistics in data analysis. In practice, statistics is the idea we can learn about the properties of large sets of objects or events or population by studying the characteristics of a smaller number of similar objects or events, a sample. Because in many cases, gathering comprehensive data about an entire population is too costly, difficult, or flat out impossible. Statistics start with a sample that can conveniently or affordably be observed. The two types of statistical methods that are used in analyzing data are descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. statisticians measure and gather data about the individuals or elements of a sample, then analyze this data to generate descriptive statistics. They can then use these observed characteristics of the sample data, which are properly called statistics, to make inferences or educated guesses about the unmeasured characteristics of the broader population known as parameters. As you can see on the screen, the different types of statistics in data analysis are descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. What are certain topics that we are going to cover in the future? Under descriptive statistics, there are two major concepts called as measure of central tendency, which basically means mean, mode, and median, and measure of variability, where we will study about ranges, variance, dispersion, and all those things. Similarly, there are various topics inside inferential statistics, which we will also be covering in the upcoming videos. So in short, descriptive statistics and inferential statistics is definitely going to be covered in this program in the upcoming videos. Before winding up the video, let's go through the differences between descriptive and inferential statistics. The first point is the utilization of descriptive statistics researchers has total crude populace data. Inferential statistics, the vast majority of the researchers take help of inferential statistics when the crude populace data is in huge amounts and can't be assembled or gathered. Descriptive statistics, the utilization of descriptive statistics is when inspecting isn't required. Inferential statistics, here testing measures are required as the analysis depends on test boundaries. Properties of crude populace, which are mean, median, and mode, are known as descriptive statistics parameters. Properties of the examining data in the inferential statistics are not named as boundaries, fairly pronounced as statistics. This kind of statistics, which is descriptive statistics, has certain constraints. One can apply this while having estimated data. Inferential statistics, it tends to be applied to a huge populace of data when the example data is a delegate of the populace. The descriptive type of statistics is quite often 100% precise, as no suspicions are being made for the crude populace data. Whereas inferential statistics depend on the theories or conclusions dependent on samples. That is the reason one cannot locate 100% precision in inferential statistics. Sounds little bit complicated right now, but once we jump into the different topics under descriptive statistics and inferential statistics, that will make you more clear about these topics. Nothing to worry about these things. We'll definitely cover these topics in the future videos. That's the end of this particular video. See you in the next video. Bye. In this video, we shall be talking about the steps to obtain a solution to a data analytics problem. Be it a data analytics or a data science problem, the first step is always understanding the problem. And in order to understand the problem, business understanding is must. Well, I can understand that business understanding makes sense for experienced professionals who have been working on their domains since quite a long time. But the question is, how do we get the business understanding if we are a fresher? Well, simply, freshers are like water. They can go through the problem statement and try their best to relate it. There are possibilities they might or might not be able to relate it. If they are able to relate, good. If they are not able to relate, they can also gain such knowledge by reading more and more blogs about their respective domain. Coming back to the video, after business understanding comes data understanding, which simply means what the data is all about. How many columns, features do we have? How many rows do we have? And etc. etc. After that, data preparation is very crucial, as in this step, we prepare the data to be ready for the next steps. In simple layman's term, we convert unstructured data to structured data that can easily be analyzed. After data preparation comes the modeling part. Modeling simply means building a model. It could be a predictive model that does some prediction, or simply a descriptive model that provides insights. Then comes evaluation. Simply, evaluation means evaluating your model, how the model has performed. So in this step, we see how our models are evaluated. Are they performing well or not? And finally, we deploy our models. Majority of the data analytics projects does not involve model creation, evaluation, or deployment. Most of the data science projects involve these steps. But still, these steps are always on a good to know basis. So it's always better to learn the different steps. I hope you understood the entire flow on how to obtain a solution for a data analytics problem. That's the end of this video, and see you in the next video where we shall be talking about each of these steps in depth. In this video, we shall be talking about the business understanding part. In the previous video, we talked about the various steps to obtain a solution for a data analytics problem. There are different steps that are involved. It all starts with business understanding, data understanding, data preparation, modeling, evaluation, and deployment. The very first step is going to be business understanding. Then comes your data understanding. You can see dual arrows here, which means these two steps are interlinked with each other. Once you get the initial understanding, then we have to move into the data preparation part. Of course, before data preparation, you can have a sub-step called as data collection. Once the data is prepared, then we have to finally create the models out of it and then do the evaluation. While evaluating, you can also take help of the business understanding part, because you might again have to go back and try to see whether we are going in the right direction or not. Once everything is done, you can deploy it. I hope everything is clear about these steps. Let's focus on business understanding in this particular video. Try to understand this thing. Why do we need to understand the business? Because if you don't understand the business, you don't understand the use cases, you will find it very difficult to correlate the task that you are going to perform with what's in your brain. For an example, you come from an insurance background or a healthcare background and you join a telecom related project or a telecom related company. Now you do not know anything about telecom. Well, there are so many concepts inside telecom. Telecom has BSS, OSS, customers who are taking your plans, customers who are churning out. So there are a lot of things that are happening in telecom, and vice versa. If you are coming from telecom and joining a insurance based company, you might not even know how an insurance based company works. So business understanding, as a data analyst, the first task that you will get assigned is going to be on your current domain, on your current business. So understanding that business is very vital. So if you are working on insurance related company or telecom related company, make sure you have an in-depth knowledge on the business problem. What is the problem you are trying to solve? If you don't know, go ahead and ask your seniors, maybe your senior business analyst or your senior data analyst or the data scientist whom you're reporting to. It could be anybody. But please make sure you are having the business understanding. Simply means understands the business process. Define and frame the business problem. And then defining the business objective. What is the objective that we are going to achieve? What is the problem statement? Now, let's say we take an example from a telecom domain. Imagine you are joining a telecom related company as a data analyst. Now, probably in your initial phase, you might come across multiple use cases. What if your manager gives you, hey, you know what? I have a set of customers. I need to do some customer churn analysis. I want to know why these customers are leaving the company and why they are switching to another telecom network. So here, the business problem is you want to identify those customers who are potentially churning. If you're able to identify, then probably you can take the next steps on how to retain them. That's how your problem statement looks like. Defining the business objective is very important. And then agree on the success criteria. So these are all about business understanding. I hope you are understanding it. In the next video, we shall talking about the next steps in this process. Stay tuned. In this video, we shall be talking about the data understanding part. In the previous video, we got to know about the business understanding. That means you have to understand what the problem statement is. What are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to solve? As a data analyst or as a data scientist, if you don't understand what needs to be solved, then you are not going in the right direction. So business understanding plays the most vital role. Once you are clear with the business understanding part as a data analyst or as a business analyst, your next step is to start understanding the data. Now, Imagine you are working in a telecom company, any kind of company, company A. Now, as a data analyst, your manager or your supervisor or your lead has come to you and he has told you that, you know what, you need to analyze the customer behavior. Who is churning, who is not churning? And if this set of people are churning, why they are churning? That's the question that your manager is asking you. So I hope everybody is clear with this term called as churn. Churn basically means to leave a company. If you are currently working at a company A and you get a better salary, or you are having some problems with company A and you want to switch, and then you switch to company B, that means you have churned from this company A and you have joined B. So churning is a very classical use case with respect to any kind of industry, be it telecom, be it banking, be it gaming industry, anything. So imagine you are working in a telecom company and your company has a churn rate of 20%. That means on an average, out of 100 people, 20 people are leaving your company. Now the reason of that is not known. That is why you are hired as a data analyst. You need to analyze the data and tell why people are leaving. I mean, not the exact reasons, but potentially. What could be the reasons why people are leaving? Are they leaving because of some monetary problems? Are they leaving because of some service related issues? What? If you are able to identify the what, then probably you, as a data analyst or as a data scientist, you can talk to your sales team, to your pre-sales team, and do some strategies around how to retain your customers. And that is why you are hired for, because if you don't add business values, then there is no point. So let's get started and try to understand this particular flow, which is data understanding. Understanding of data is very crucial because you need to know what are the various touch points in the context of business process. Gather knowledge on where data originates from, how it gets processed, what decisions are being made, where it is getting stored, and how it flows to downstream. So as a data analyst, when you get started, your first task is to understand how the flow goes on. From where the data originates, what are the data sources, how do we capture the data, how do we process the data, what are the different decisions that we make, where are we storing the data, is it a SQL database or a NoSQL database? Sorry about the jargons. We will probably know more about SQL and NoSQL in our future videos. But imagine SQL and NoSQL is nothing but some database. And database is nothing but a storage where you are storing your data. So where it is getting stored, how the flow is happening. Then you have to deep dive into the business meaning of the data being leveraged, as well as knowledge present in existing system in form of rules. Apart from that, you also need to identify what are the different data sources that we have, what are the type of data that we can start collecting. All these things needs to be done. A detailed explanation will be provided in the next video, but in short, let me explain you this thing. Imagine you are working in a telecom company. I'll not name the company, let's say company A. It could be any company, it could be Vodafone, it could be Telkomsel. If you are in Indonesia, it could be Telkomsel, or XL Axiata. If you are in some other places, could be 3Mobile, Vodafone. Imagine any telecom company. If you are in Philippines, it could be Globe Telecom. Now, imagine you're working for a company A. Now, you have been given this problem statement that people are churning. The churn rate is 20%. If we are able to identify why, then we can create some predictive model or do something to try to reduce this percentage. And if you're able to do that, that is your success measure. Now, first of all, you got this use case from your seniors. Then what you need to do is you need to first try to understand, where is my data? Which database? What all data can we capture? We can capture customer profile information. Where is the customer staying? What is the address of the customer? What is the age of the customer? And so on. The second could be usage. Is the customer doing calls in the morning or in the night? If the customer is using internet or using some data usage, and at what point of time he is doing a more usage, and all those things. Call details. How many calls is he doing? Complaints. Does he have any complaint over the past 6 months or not? All this kind of data are being captured and you have to start collating it. That means you have to combine all together and start making a final data set that could be ready for the next steps. Check if it will be appropriate to use additional industry known external data sources. Now, for example, you have to brainstorm. Can we try to do some extra data collection? And then some idea gets struck to your mind. What if we can create a survey and we can send to all these customers, how do they feel using our services? Now, I know when we usually tend to give these surveys, out of 100%, maybe 5% of the customers reply back. But these 5% of the customers' reviews are also very important. We can do some analysis around that and identify whether people are actually loving our services or not. So, some external data sources could also enhance your decision boundary. So, overall, the overall picture is that data understanding is going to be very crucial. Before that, business understanding is going to be very crucial. Once you identify what are your data sources and what are your what are the databases where the data is being stored, once you know these things, your next step is going to start collecting them, preparing them, and then doing some further analysis or creating some predictive models out of it. I hope you got what I wanted to say in this particular session on data understanding. In the next video, we shall be talking about data collection. Till then, see you. Hi, welcome to this course, and in this video, we shall be talking about the data collection part. Previously, we understood what exactly is business understanding and what is data understanding. Each one of them plays crucial role while solving a data analytics or a data science problem. Then comes data collection. Data collection by far is the most important step because this is where we try to identify what type of data to collect, from where to collect, who are the stakeholders that are going to provide you the data. So this particular step is going to be very crucial. Now let's try to understand how does the data collection process looks like from various companies' point of view. Now if I try to divide companies, now companies could be of three different types. Majorly MNCs, which are the multinational companies, the big companies. You can name any of them: Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Deloitte. There are many companies that have been running since 50 years, 60 years, 100 years, and 200 years. Those kind of big organizations are called as multinational companies. Now, the second category of company could be mid-level companies who have been running since quite a long time, probably 10, 15, 20 years. And the third category of companies are startups. Now, again, if I have to divide startups, there could be mid-level startups, there could be premature startups, there could be different types of startups as well. Let's not get into that right now. Let's try to go ahead and see how the work culture looks like in MNCs from a data analyst point of view, and how does he starts collecting the data. Now, multinational companies usually deals with millions and billions of data. They might be having millions of customers and lots of data. Now, there are very high chances that MNCs might be having different databases. That means different type of data might be getting stored in different databases. Now, imagine we are talking about customers. Now, let's say as a data analyst, you want to analyze the customers. Let's say I'm not talking about the use case. It could be anything. There are multiple use cases around customers, and it depends from domain to domain. Let's not get into that. Imagine you want as much customer information as possible. From telecom point of view, imagine you're working in a telecom based company. Now in telecom, you can capture customer profile data. You can capture customers usage data, that how much usage he has done, how many MBs of data he has used, how many calls he has done, call details. In telecom, we also tend to call the customer cares when we face any problem. So those kind of details, complaint details. Now there are different other types of data. Imagine you are working in an MNC or a multinational company. There might be having different databases being managed by different database admins. Now when you jump into the company as a data analyst or as a data scientist, what you need to do is you need access to these databases. Now imagine you get access to this database, and then you have to combine this data to finally create your final data. And this final data is going to be ready for the next steps, which is data preparation and then doing the analysis and building models out of it. But this is how you start collecting data. As a data analyst, we directly go to multiple teams and tell them, hey, could you please give me access to this database? If not, could you please give me a dump of data, probably for the last 12 months or 18 months? And that's how you get the data. A similar kind of work culture is also followed in mid-level companies. They might not be having huge amount of databases. They might be having a single database or could be multiple as well, but not as big as MNCs. But you have to follow a similar strategy here as well. Now talking about the startups. Again, startups could be of multiple types. Startups with client, without client. The startups who already has a client, that means they have a customer. They want to work or do some sort of analysis for that particular client. Now in those cases, if you join the startup X and X has a client named A, when you join this company as a data analyst, it's the responsibility of company A to provide data. Now they are responsible for providing data. So most likely you will get data from the company A to X. Imagine you are working for a startup without client. Now in these kind of scenarios where you don't have a client, the only option is to get started with public data or probably do some web scraping and then try to work on this kind of data. Obviously, be it web scraping or be it getting data from Kaggle or GitHub, any kind of repository, it is still public. So these kind of scenarios, we tend to work on public data. And if I talk about public databases like Kaggle, GitHub, most of the data are already structured. That means you will already find the data in a CSV file or in an Excel file, which makes our life easier to do the further steps. That is all about the data collection part. So data collection is nothing but collecting new data from internet and other sources. If you have your databases, you can extract from there or else from the internet by web scraping. Using the previously collected and stored data, reusing someone else's data, or purchasing data. That's all about this particular session on data collection. I hope you enjoyed it. In the next video, we shall be talking about the further steps. See you in the next video. In this video, we shall be talking about data preparation. Till now, I hope you understood what exactly is business understanding, data understanding, and data collection. Honestly speaking, data collection is one of the most important steps. Very important. But what if you already collected the data? Data could be from multiple databases. It could be from a single database like an Excel sheet, or it could be just a connection from your database to your Python notebook. It could be in any format. Excel, CSV, JSON, it could be anything. But what matters is data. Now, once your data collection is done, your next step is to prepare the data. That means preparation phase is nothing but converting the data, like the unstructured data, to the structured data. Something like untidy data to tidy data. What do you mean by tidy data? That means the data that is ready for analysis. Imagine you have just woke up. Obviously, you need to brush, you need to comb your hair, you need to take a bath, you need to be tidy, right? That's your data preparation part. So the data collection is separate, in which you have to collect data from multiple data sources. Once your data is collected, your data could be multiple files, could be single file, or it could be a JSON file, CSV file, Excel file, it could be anything. And then comes your data preparation. What do you mean by data preparation? First of all, the first step is called as data discovery and profiling. That means we have to first profile this data. Imagine we'll talk about the same customer churn analysis. You have customer profile data. You have customer usage data. You have customer call complaints. You have customers bandwidth related data, and so on. There are multiple files. First step is to profile them, that this is your customer profile data, this is your customer complaint data, and so on. And profiling also means to check how many null values do we have all the records or not, how many errors do we have. All these kind of things comes under your profiling. If you have some null values, imagine you are considering this particular data. Out of 1000 records, maybe there is a column called as X5 where 75% of the data is null value. What we can do here is, well, either you deal with it, that means either you fill these 75% null values, or else remove this entire column. Similarly, data cleansing, that means cleaning the data. Data structuring, data transformation and enrichment, data validation and publishing. So in short, these steps are nothing but converting your unstructured data to structured data, checking whether you have null values or not, checking whether you have invalid data type issues or the data is completely fine. So these kind of steps comes under your data preparation part. So there is a lot of things that we cover in data preparation. Definitely when it comes to the exploration of data chapter or EDA, exploratory data analysis, you will have a better understanding practically on how data preparation works. So I hope you understood the basic concepts behind the data preparation part, where we convert unstructured to structured data. And finally, the output of data preparation is a structured file or a structured data which is ready for analysis. We don't have to do some fine tuning there. The data is ready for analysis or kind of model building. So that's all about this particular video on data preparation. In the next video, we shall be talking about a concept called as modeling. It's going to be fun. That's all about this particular video. See you in the next video. Bye. Hi, in this video, we shall be talking about EDA and modeling. So far, in order to solve a data analytics problem, everybody might have already known that business understanding and data understanding is vital. Once you are clear with that, it all starts with data collection. As a data analyst or as a data scientist, data collection is one of those most important steps, because this is where you collect as much data as possible. You don't even know whether the collected data makes sense or not. Whether it makes sense or not is a futuristic step. But in the collection phase, we try to collect as much as possible. And then in the data preparation phase, we try to prepare the data as much as possible. And preparation has multiple steps. I hope you have already gone through the previous video. Imagine the data is prepared. That means from unstructured data, we have the structured data. So from unstructured data to structured data basically means unstructured could be anything. It could be a JSON file. It could be, a mix of multiple other formats and all those things. A lot of missing values, a lot of problematic data. Some data is missing, some is having some invalid data types. There are lots and lots of issues which we will cover in depth. And then from unstructured to structured. Now this is the output of the data preparation part. That means this data is ready. Ready for what? This data is ready for analysis. Now, EDA is analysis. EDA is nothing but exploratory data analysis. That means if you have a data, a particular use case, you can probably take the next steps in analyzing the data. So simply, EDA is nothing but exploratory data analysis. It deals with the process of performing initial investigations on data with the help of summary statistics and graphical representation. Summary statistics is a technical term which we will be covering in depth in the EDA class. To discover patterns, to spot anomalies, anomalies otherwise means outliers. Test hypothesis, check assumptions. Now analysis is a very vital phase, because as a data analyst, this is your primary task, to analyze the data. Once we analyze the data and give some insights, those insights are being captured by the data science team to build some predictive models. Now, in companies, as I told you, there are different types of companies, startups or MNCs. So it depends on which company you are working on. In some companies, the predictive model building part is done by the data scientist team. In some companies, the predictive model building is done by combination of data analysts and data scientists. So it doesn't really matter. Both can do this work, a data analyst and a data scientist. But before the predictive modeling part comes your analysis. And this is called as EDA, where we discover patterns, we spot outliers, we test hypothesis, and we check assumption. In simple terms, what do you mean by discover patterns? I'll give you a small example. Imagine your dataset is having 1000 records. Now what you do, let's say you are analyzing the records. So you have to plot some graph. Let's say there is a column called as gender. Now you plot a graph, male and female. Now this gives you an idea that almost 600 are males and 400 are females. Similarly, you also check some other criteria, some other columns. And then you find that, oh, this column, this data is high, this data is low. So this is nothing but identifying information, getting insights. Now, what do you mean by spotting anomalies or spotting outliers? Outliers, in simple terms, is nothing but those data points that are very far away from other data points. Imagine you have 5 students and you are analyzing the height of each student. Somebody's height is 170 centimeters, somebody's is 165, somebody's is 172, 180, and somebody's is 200. Now, in this, you can see these four are almost very close, but this data point is very far away from the rest. Or else somebody with 85 centimeters could be a dwarf, but these kind of data points that are very far away from rest of these data points are called as outliers. What do we do with these outliers? Well, there are different strategies that we follow in EDA, so we will be covering that in depth in the EDA class. Similarly, testing hypothesis and checking assumptions. After the EDA is done, after the initial analysis is done, as I told you, data analysts normally transfer the knowledge or the insights to the data science team. Now, what does the data science team do? Data science team understands the insights. Oh, this is what the insights are. Oh, maybe out of 1,000 people, if 200 people have left the organization, most of them are males. That's the insight. Or when we consider males, most of the males who have churned are from Tokyo, or are from Indonesia, or are from Japan. Tokyo and Japan are same, or are from Malaysia. Now that's an insight, right? Now these insights helps the data science team in order to do some decision making process, and then they start creating a predictive model which will be able to do some predictions. Now, what is modeling? Modeling is simply building a model, which is a very iterative process because there is no such thing called as final and perfect solution. Well, let me try to give you an example and help you out with both ED and modeling part. Imagine, well, I have been taking the example of churn prediction. So let's say we are analyzing customer churn. Now you have joined a company A. It could be any telecom company in the world. British Telecom, Vodafone, Telkomsel, Globe. It could be anything. It depends from where you are. Just take any example in your head. I'm treating it as company A. Now you have joined this company as a data analyst or as a data scientist. Let's take a data analyst role. Your company manager has come to you and told you that, hey, you know what? These are my 1,000 records, my 1,000 customers. Out of them, 200 customers have left. That means the churn rate is 20%. Can you do some EDA around it? Which means the candidate has to perform some initial analysis. What is an example of analysis? What I will do as a data analyst is, first, from the 1,000 records, I will try to see, oh, male and female, the ratio is almost 600 and 400. So it is almost 6:4 ratio, which is 3:2 ratio, right? Similarly, I will also check these 200 records. Imagine the 200 records are also like this, 121 and female are like 79. This is also 3:2, almost. That means gender has no role in this particular use case. What if your graphs would have been like this? Let's say male 40 and female is like 160. That means out of 400, almost 160 people who are female have left the organization. Now here the ratio is 1:4. Now you can see, right? More females have left the organization. Now this is an insight that we get as an EDA process. Similarly, we do a lot of insights, bivariate analysis, univariate analysis, we do some numerical analysis. There are a lot of jargons that we do. Well, we will not be covering in this particular video. There is a separate video for that, but this is what we do in EDA. Now, as an analysis insight, we pass these insights to the data science team. Hey, you know what? Most of the females are leaving the company, or most of the females that are leaving are majorly from Japan, or majorly from Tokyo, or majorly from Jakarta. So these are the ones that are churning. Can we do something around it? And then what the data scientist team will do is, let's build a predictive model. Out of these 1,000 records, what I will do is I will divide the data into training and test samples, which means I will build a model on these 800 records. That means these 800 records are being trained in this model. And these 200 records will be tested. And then I will check what is my test accuracy. Let's say you got an 80% accuracy. That means my model is doing good. So your model is ready. That means if 1,000 first customer comes in, your model will be able to do a correct prediction. This is nothing but the modeling part. And when it comes to machine learning, when it comes to predictive analytics, there are so many algorithms that we will be studying that you might need to learn as well as part of your predictive analytics journey. So that's all about EDN modeling. In the next video, we will be talking about the deployment part. See you in the next video. In this video, we shall be talking about the deployment part. In the previous videos, we have already talked about the business understanding, the data preparation, modeling, evaluation, and all those things. However, evaluation is something that I haven't covered in depth, but imagine evaluation is nothing but you are evaluating your models, whether your model is performing well on testing data or not. In simple terms, if you have 1,000 records, you divide your data into training and test, let's say 800 and 200. In this 800, you are creating your model, and 200 you are predicting it. That means 200 data is unseen data for your model. Your model does not know about this data. And imagine your model's accuracy is 85%. Similarly, you create multiple other models. Model 1, Model 2, Model 3, and you compare the results. That means you evaluate the results. Let's say Model 3 is best. What we do is we take it and try to deploy it. Deploy means it is user ready. That means you are deploying the model. That means in future, if the next transaction comes in, it will directly go through Model 3 and it will start predicting. That's all about your deployment. Now, deployment is majorly of multiple types. You can talk about on-premises deployment, and you can also talk about cloud deployment. Now, which technique we usually use, it all depends on company to company. If your company has an on-premises setup, on-premises simply means a setup on your local servers. If you have an on-premises setup, you can deploy it locally in some server. If you are using cloud, maybe AWS or Azure or GCP, you can do a deployment on those kind of cloud platforms as well. But ultimately, deployment is something where we are taking the entire model and deploying it. That means the users or the clients will start using these models in a live environment. That's all about deployment. So again, there are various steps inside deployment. Let's not get into that right now. Probably in some of our future videos, we will be talking about it. In the next video, we will be taking a small example of one of the data analytics use case. My special use case, which I usually talk about, is customer churn analysis. I will be using that particular use case and I will show you how does a data analytics environment looks like, what a data analytics team do, and then how does a data science team work on that particular project, and how do we engage and enact. So that's going to give you a broader overview of how our entire data science and analytics project looks like. Stay tuned. That's all about this particular video on deployment. We'll see you in the next video where we will talk about an example. Bye. Hi. In this video, I shall be talking about a high-level overview of a data analytics and a data science-led approach to manage churn. I have been talking about this use case, right? Customer churn analysis. I hope everybody understands that churning is not specific to telecom. Churning could happen anywhere. Imagine you are currently working for Standard Chartered Bank. You have your own bank account under Standard Chartered. Imagine Hang Seng or HSBC provides you a better FD rates. There are high chances that many people might churn from Standard Chartered and might join HSBC. Let's say, talking about a gaming industry, you are currently playing a game. Maybe you played the game for the next 5 days as well. In 5 days, you are able to complete almost 120, 130 levels, which means the game is too easy for you. There are high chances that you might churn as well. That means you uninstall that game and switch to another game. Or else, what if you have achieved 110 level, but the 110th level is too difficult? It's been last 3 days, you are trying hard and you are not succeeding. In that case also, a customer could churn. So in short, churning is applicable in each and every domain that you can think of. In this particular example, I'm only taking an example related to the telecom industry. That means you are in a network, for example, Vodafone network, there are high chances that you might leave Vodafone and join some other network. You are working as a data analyst in Vodafone. What should be your strategy? You can see this particular graph. This is a wonderful graph that has been created, which talks about the end-to-end journey of this particular use case. Because there will be the data analytics part, there will be the data science part, and there will be some advanced data science part where we will do some advanced techniques as well. But all starts with the business understanding. I hope you are able to understand the problem statement. In this particular example, we are taking telecom churn related use case. That means people are churning from one company to another company, right? The first step is data collection. Data collection, as I told you, it could be from multiple databases. You can also get all the data in one single database, but these are the type of data that we need to collect. As we are dealing with a telecom related use case, acquisition data, tariff and usage data, customer level data, recharge data, and monthly snapshot. First of all, this entire step is nothing but your data collection part. Then comes your aggregation, cleaning, and transformation. This is your data preparation part. Once your data is prepared, your data is ready to be used. So the first step is always capture and analyze, and this is a major step where data analysts work. Business understanding is must. Identify data requirements and explore data availability. Request and extract data required to build a model. Aggregate, clean, and standardize data in desired format for model. Now, once your data is ready, then comes the next step, which is report and predict. This is a step. Now, the first step is always performed by the data analytics team. This particular step, report and predict, sometimes it is only handled by data analytics team. Sometimes it is accompanied by the data science team as well. So here we try to discover relationships. We extract trends, expose patterns. Now this process is nothing but EDA, exploratory data analysis. So business analysis of standardized data is must. Predictive model design, development and implementation of predictive model. So this part is majorly done by the data analyst. Once this part is done, if you go ahead and start building the models, well, as I told you, this model is a predictive model, right? So data analyst can also create it, and data science team can also get engaged in this. Okay. And then comes the next part, which is engaging and enacting. So again, this is where I would say data analysts do not play a major role here. It's data science team who takes care of this part, but this is nothing but engaging and acting. That means once your model is ready, imagine out of 1,000 customers, your model is predicting that 250 customers are most likely to churn. That's fine. But what's next? How do we retain them? Predicting them is somehow easy. Retaining them is difficult. And this is where this engage and act comes into picture, where we have to do some segmentation targeting, churn drivers, understand the subscriber monitoring, actionable insights, target marketing, understand various customer profiles. Based on various parameters, we have to provide them some offers. You can see recommendations on monthly churn initiatives. So this is an overall picture of an end-to-end project. I am pretty much sure you have got a very good idea about it. In case you have any problems, probably go through these particular use cases. There are tons and tons of blogs over internet as well. You can go through, read about it. That's all about this particular video on the high level overview of a data analytics and data science led approach to manage churn. Thank you. See you in the next video. Bye bye.